tattoos.
Sibling.
We should get laid before time.
Bitch, get a chest tattoo. Get the.
Okay, so
get the
I was thinking of getting.
Continuation of a tattoo. Get a fucking.
I like my patchies.
I don't know. I like what this is doing.
So I'm gonna have. I think I've dedicated. This is gonna be my nature arm, and this is gonna be my family arm. Because this is for Dad, and then this is Mom. Because Dad calls me the raccoon, and I got blueberries because he always brought me back blueberries.
All right, if we're talking about that, then what would you put that would represent something that I've
called? Oh, I'm gonna put Spike from Land of Before Time.
Okay, that's
yeah, and I'm gonna put a butterfly, and you're going to be chasing it, or like a leaf. No, the star leaf that they always ate, that they were obsessed with. I'm gonna put like a
You know, people are gonna be listening to this, and they're gonna have a fucking.
Yeah, that's gonna be cute because Shane said, "Oh, when we
watched that before time." I remember when I listened.
Yeah, because when Shane said, "Oh, you should have like a vine or kind of a mosaic of when we eventually have kids. They're gonna have their chosen animals, like a dragon or a phoenix or an
how
elephant."
How do you determine that kind of thing?
You I don't know, because you kind of either the vibe or based on their zodiac, the Chinese zodiacs. Okay. Because I am a bunny.
You're a bunny.
I'm a rabbit. That's my Chinese.
How would I determine that?
That's a year, actually.
I'm gonna determine my animal. It's gonna be a squirrel.
Chinese zodiac. I think you're a ram, actually.
Squirrel. A little rodent.
Also, I found out because
there it is.
There we go. So I'm a rabbit, and I like this horoscope a bit more than.
Guys, you're watching me learn about horoscopes.
Yeah.
I'm branching out.
We're 19. There you go. You're an ox. You're an ox.
I'm an ox?
Yeah, and then there's me.
That's super funny because they call me Cow and all that stuff.
There you go.
Fuck!
So.
Because today, welcome. I'm Cohen.
I'm Corinne.
Welcome to Blood Banter.
Cue the intro.
What are we talking about today?
And we're back. We are talking about Quinkadinkly. Do your thoughts make sense out loud?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Love that. Okay, so this has been on a topic of many occasions. So we thought we should talk about it because I feel like that's a personality trait of mine.
Now, this was an inspiration from you. Can you give us a little synopsis as to what we're talking about?
So, in the grand scheme of things, I am known for overthinking. So I wrote down.
Don't do that. Oh my God.
So I'm known as an overthinker. Shocking, I know. The cool, calm, and collected, and then the overthinker. Really sums up our siblingship.
Oh man.
So, if anyone doesn't know, overthinking, according to Google, is a repetitive negative thought process that focuses on the past, the future, and potential problems without necessarily seeking solutions.
So you're like a time traveler.
Time traveling of the negacy.
So we watch all these movies about creatures and aliens that go through different dimensions and different time fields, in the future and the past. And we got this bitch. She's been doing it for 20-some years.
Yeah.
Nobody making a movie about her. I feel like that's a steal.
I know.
Not a steal. It's a thievery is what it is.
My autobiography is
Corinne, where the fuck's she going to be today?
Like, where's she going? I don't know. Because, unfortunately, all my emotions are also shown on my face. So when something clicks, when someone else does something and it clicks into me, and you can see me traveling into everywhere on my face, and it's like, come back to us. Thank you. Come back to us. Anyway, so there you go.
You just witnessed it. You just watched it in real time.
Yeah.
So now this is something you quote a lot. It's side questing.
Side questing. I actually, unfortunately, I exposed that to my work colleagues.
No, you told them they know it now. They're going to be looking for it.
Yeah, because I actually...
What is a side questing?
So, side questing, from my opinion, this could be a brand thing, is not a
it's a
copyright.
It's a podcast called Blood and Banter.
Yeah.
We're going to be just giving opinions.
I'm just giving opinions. We're not specialists at anything. We're just yapping. So for my thing, it's having a train of thought, but adding context to an already explained topic to the point that the main topic of what you're saying, is just overrun by branches of subtext and everything.
And you know exactly what we're talking about. When you're sitting around and you guys just start talking about a thing, and then you branch, and then you branch, and then you branch, and then 30 or 40 minutes later, you're like, how the fuck did we get on this topic?
Yes.
And you have to paddle back and then hit every topic that you talked about for the past 30 minutes to then eventually figure out the source.
Yeah.
And then you continue on.
Yeah.
That's a side quest.
Side questing. I'm horrible for it. Unfortunately, I've actually caught someone in my already planned out thought web. It's not even a tree.
You planned these?
I planned them because when
I don't have ad lib.
I don't. Sometimes it ad libs and it just kind of builds and builds and builds, especially when there's a slight pause in my thought. It's like, oh wait, check my.
I must say the thing because I might forget it.
Oddly enough, I posted this a while ago. I don't know when this is going to be posted, but a while ago I actually posted a meme based on that, saying, "Oh wait, I have a story for this." I actually posted a meme for this. I have a story for this.
It's kind of a sign of a well-lived life when you think about it. If you have a story for everything. God help me when you're 60.
If I ever get grandkids, not forcing that onto my
Come here, I got a story for that.
Hey, hang on, I got a life lesson for you. That's unfortunate too because I don't have an official gym buddy, so I talk in my brain as I'm doing my list because my brain goes off. We make plot. I'm a horrible writer, but if I actually had any inkling of talent for writing, I would have books coming out my yin yang.
I think there's already a book about it. It's called the DSM-6.
I feel so attacked on a Sunday evening.
I think there's the 6th edition. You might be in the newest one.
I think I'm in all the editions. This is a very planted issue.
Yeah, they talk a lot about it.
I do. I talk to myself. I hum. I'm a dancer, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. My ick at the gym is me dancing.
Your ick is you dancing?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't... Wait a minute.
I make my own eggs.
Yeah,
I phrased it wrong, but we're going to go with it. I dance and I make myself ick.
Guys. You are currently witnessing an exact carbon copy of the thing we were trying to describe. Which is a side quest.
Side questing.
So if you were wondering what that looks like, you're fucking in it.
Yeah.
It's free real estate.
Anyway, before we continue on topics, so I talk to myself and sometimes people come up to talk to me, which I love because I love talking to people. I like talking.
It's usually a good conversation.
Yeah, normally they come up like, oh, your lifts are great, and I like branch out like, what do you guys do? Are you athletes or just here to quiet the voices?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Why did you pay the monthly fee and be here?
How dare you be in my domain?
But I'm horrible for yapping because they'll start, oh, your lifts are great, and then we end up on like baby elephants. Like it's an unfortunate event if you ever see me at the gym and decide to talk to me. I love to talk, and you have to find like an ender, like bye. Oh my god. So
when it comes
to sign on the back saying danger yapper.
Well, a lot of the great podcasts that I've listened to, I'm gonna plug Stuff You Should Know. They're
so
legendary.
So good.
They call it tangents.
Yeah.
Or I think they just call it.
I call it tangents. I know basement yards. Sorry, backyard. Backyard friends. Basement yards. They also Frankie does that a lot. He starts a topic and just kind of goes down.
But there's something about taking a tangent or side questing
feels good for the soul.
It oddly does.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we have a lot of inside things.
Someone told me this the other day. Sorry.
But the inside things
Your turn.
never get the chance to see the light of day. So when I've done this a few times and I've seen you do it. You did it tonight several times.
A few times.
But
pin.
It's the opportunity to kind of poke at somebody else's propensity to explore ideas.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a thing. Politics. But also, I like this car. It was like, what do you think of this car? Fuck, I love this car. It's V8. So, oh, fuck, we can actually go off on this train. Okay, well, this person seems kind of safe to talk about things. So we can, it's like, man, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and sometimes it's more fluid than others. But I guess my point is, in this tangent, that it's kind of a display of love.
Arguably, I feel like the people who have a lot of branches or trains of thought are easier to talk to than the ones that are kind of talking based on one topic
But
alone.
I want to talk about the love.
And that was good.
But it's one of the most
like an onion.
vulnerable things that you can do. You are laying your soul out bare.
Oh, your roots are showing.
That's the...
I like that. I like
branching
that a lot.
out.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's kind of the whole point that I was getting at there, is because we are very sequestered all of the time. And we're not in a big city. So let's give an example that makes more sense for people like in Toronto or fucking anywhere. You could be in a train with 100 people around you. How I know, right?
That's a lot of people.
I'm
too towny for that. That's a lot of people.
But how many of those people do you think that are actually having connections with each other?
I feel like people dating in the bigger cities is harder than people.
That would suck, because you're just conditioned to not be open to things.
No, like just
keep walking. Just people don't exist. You get to where you're going.
Headphones down.
So that has to do something to the mind or the soul or whatever you want to call it. And I think that when people experience themselves going on tangents, it's a display of vulnerability and a way of love to another human.
I find I have a lot of friends who've moved away from the Maritimes and then come back, and they always point this out to me, that there's always a maritime conversation. And I feel like,
what's a maritime conversation?
Okay, so maritime conversation from the friends that are either from bigger cities or other countries.
Pause. We live in the Maritimes.
We are Maritimers.
New Brunswick.
We're Maritimers. So if you catch that while we're talking so fast. No spaces, no punctuation, all one word.
All
commas, all hyphens, everything's hyphened. Anyway, so when I have friends that are moving from other countries or from bigger cities that are coming over here because, we're kind of secluded in a lot of situations, that they always say that there's a maritime conversation where it starts off on one point and then it kind of feeds, and there's never an opportunity to leave. And I find bigger city people coming into the Maritimes, they always have that 2-word dialogue. And then they just part ways. But like, no, I must tell you about my dogs. And it's kind of like, here's a picture of my grandkids. There's no escape in a conversation if you catch yourself into like a maritime conversation. But then there's also the maritime goodbye. So there's a stereotype or a common phrase of the Irish.
So funny.
There's a Irish goodbye, as everyone likes to use. They just kind of like wave and fuck off, or like they sneak out after no one's paying attention to you. But the maritime...
The Irish goodbye is fucking hilarious.
Oh, I did that today, actually. Bye! And I fucked off.
That's not Irish.
I know.
You can't say goodbye.
I know.
That was just a leave. It's just an exit.
That's kind of like a...
I
got my oven on. I got an oven on. Yeah, Irish goodbye is you vanish into thin air. And then I got my oven on, bye. But a maritime goodbye is you say goodbye for an hour. You say, all right.
You're slowly making your way to your car.
You slap
the leg.
And then
another conversation and another tangent.
And they
it's
call
like
you.
2 steps per new tangent. And you better hope you're close to your car.
Exactly.
Because next thing you know, you're going to be talking to the guy while you're sitting in your fucking driver's seat
and
turning on the car. Yes. I was like, fuck, man, I really got to go. And
I was late to his house yesterday for a party after a meet, and then I went to go pick up my husband, and my husband was actually stuck in a maritime conversation with our neighbor. Gentlefolk, love him. Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic neighbor. Anyway, I walk in, I drove in, saw my husband on the end of the street with our neighbor. I'm like, we getting evicted? What's going on?
We getting evicted.
We starting road beef? What's going on with this poor old man? And then so we go, and he's having a conversation. This lovely old man grabs my window, so I can't leave without banging him. So I'm stuck in this half an hour conversation with this neighbor. Like, cool. My brother made me food. I got husband, you coming? No? Okay, bye. So
You came at a good time too.
Because
I was literally finishing the second round of burgers.
Exactly. So. I was like, I gotta go. So I'm like, bye-bye. And he was like, walking with the car. Like, I had to leave, and I felt so bad. Like, get in the car, come with me.
Wait a minute, back up. He was walking.
He was like, I was kind of like slowly letting off my brake. I couldn't park it because then I'll make him like say, "Oh, come into your." He was blocking my driveway too.
No.
He was a great man, and I'm like, he was blocking. My husband and him were blocking the driveway, so I couldn't even park anywhere. So I was like on the road, looking back, making sure I didn't stop traffic. And if I parked it on the road, he would have just went with it. And then I'm thinking, I'm rolling. He's like slowly walking with the car, and I'm like rolling. I'm not gassing or anything. And I'm thinking like. Okay, I was like halfway, like, hey, man, I love you, and I'm so glad that you are welcoming this young couple into this very obvious old people area. Yeah. Get in the car with me or let go of my window. I felt so bad. I was like, he's actually kind of cool. I should have brought him, honestly.
I would have vibed with him.
He's a viber. He had a good stick, good walking stick.
I invited my neighbors, too, but they didn't come.
I love my neighbors. I'm so lucky that my neighbors are pretty chill. So
yeah, you got it pretty good.
I got pretty good neighbors.
Now I'm gonna pull this beautiful tree that we have grown together. Why the fuck are you sorry? This is great. I'm having a fucking good time. I'm gonna throw something at you that you may or may not be able to relate to. The conversation that you will have with a friend that you haven't seen for years.
Oh, I do.
So I compare it to this. So you take your fucking.
There it is. Oh.
Boys about to have a legendary conversation, laying it all out to bear. That's a classic one. Do my thoughts make sense?
Bonk.
Do these thoughts make sense out loud? Because you got two people. I'm just going to extend it to that because I feel like this is something that boys and girls can both relate to. When you just start reminiscing on past experiences that you've had and new experiences, and then just kind of they all blend together in this really cool soup of reminiscence. And I think that's a really good example of do your thoughts make sense out loud, because your friend's gonna surely fucking say, what the hell are you talking about? Or that's fucking cool, I want to talk more about that. And
you did that to me today a few times.
Yeah, I did.
We commonly say put a pin in that. I don't know if that's like just our area or if that's a common phrase, because we always say, I want to, because like, I want to talk about that later, finish this thought, talk about it later, put a pin in that.
Yeah, it's a classic way to deal with people with ADHD, actually. So
I'm not diagnosed, but there's something there.
So what I've had to do a lot in my careers has been, people love to talk. Generally, anybody. So I also really like hearing genuine thoughts on things.
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't have unlimited time to do things. Right? Okay. So when I say I'm going to put a pin in that, I also follow it up with, and I'm going to take it out after X thing. And I'm very specific with that for a really particular reason. I'm specific about it because it tells the person that I'm communing with or consulting with that I give a shit about the thing that they have on their mind right now. But I'm also respecting the time that I have, or respecting my own boundaries and constraints that I'm working with. And I always, plus or minus, take the pin out of the conversation and we pick it back up so that we can actually unveil all of the thoughts, which does two things. One, integrity. I'm big on integrity. Two, it makes the person that you're talking to feel way more important, which I think is really important, is valuable.
Yeah.
Because if the person that you're talking to feels valued, feels safe, and feels like what they have to say matters, then that means the conversation goes really, really well. You get to see the human in front, and nothing gets me more jazzed than seeing somebody's true self lay out bare in front of you.
Yeah.
Because people are fucking cool.
I love when you find a topic that they get excited about. Like, ooh, okay.
Weapon away now.
Yeah, put that away.
Oh wait, before I do.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be mirrored in the thing, but it's my beautiful fiance. I made her a little weapon in case I am too much of an asshole. So if you see me with a bit of a crack in my head,
don't worry about it.
No, it was my fault. It was my fault.
Mind your business. But in the American
But no, it was my fault.
Normally.
So, like, just to rehash, we're talking about do your thoughts make sense out loud. And I like the next thing that you're going to talk about right now. Going cheap.
Oh my god.
Going cheap.
Okay, so...
Get ready, bitches!
Surprisingly, we are in our mid to late 20s. Surprise. So right now, obviously, we're dabbling with the recession. We're dabbling with the good tunes.
Are we technically in
We
one
are
now?
the recession because we have all the good emo bands coming back in their...
Hell yeah!
Yeah. So...
That's the standard.
That's the standard. And when Britney Spears and Kesha post a new album, that's when we know we're in the recession.
When Linkin Park starts fucking
When Linkin Park starts vibing, Green Day is at Coachella and all that, like, we know we're in the recession.
Man,
we're so good. We're in the recession.
But all jokes aside, we're
terrible.
definitely doing a tangent again.
Yes.
But Linkin Park's new lead singer.
I like her.
What's her name? Her name's Emily Armstrong.
I like her.
Fucking awesome!
Right, okay. Hot take. We respect Chester.
He's great.
He's great. We stand with Chester. However, this is the new age Linkin Park.
Emily is...
Oh my god, she's amazing. She has the grumble. She has the strength to sing. And I think that's what... Hot take, I'm so sorry. We respect the passing of Chester. Yeah. Don't hate us. Don't hunt us down. But I feel like they needed a strong singer to continue with Linkin Park, and I feel like she has that strength. She's good lungs, too.
Her voice is actually kind of a cool mix of what... you ever heard of the band Unleash the Archers?
Of course.
So lead singer...
Canadian band.
Really good. Check them out.
So good.
They take she takes a little bit of that and mixes it in with Chester in a really cool way.
She does it well.
He was a hurting boy.
He was a hurting boy.
And I think that the way that she fucking sends her songs is an excellent tribute to what he had brought to the band. Yeah. And also symbolizes what they're about to be now.
I feel like we can respect the past, but then support the present, and then be excited for the future.
Look at you being a time traveler again.
Look at me and traveling again.
But yeah, I do agree with you because...
Watch it like next month they get canceled. Shit.
So, in case somebody diddled as a kid in that band, we didn't mean it.
My bad.
Fuck the band.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the meantime, they're a really good band.
Right now, timestamp it, right now, there has not been any issues. And, it's fine.
In April 20th of 2025, we have not come to light that anybody has diddled a kid in Linkin Park. So we're gonna...
Also, as far as we know, I mean, at this timestamp, we always stand Mike Shinoda, so...
The fuck did you say?
Mike Shinoda.
Like, again, that's another example of what I think somebody who doesn't speak English...
He's basically, because Chester is not with us.
Who are we talking about?
Mike, basically the CEO of the band, I guess.
Oh, I didn't know his name. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, people don't know what he looks like often, and he's not been recognized on the street. And I feel so bad because I'm like, he's burned in my brain.
My own ignorance laid bare there. So let's talk about going cheap. This is the fucking best. I know.
Recession time, going cheap. So
this is lending credence to the topic of today because we're talking about do your thoughts make sense? Yes. And part of that was a tangent. So we're bringing it right back to the going cheap.
No cutting, always.
Little bit of cutting.
Little cutting. So, anyway, so going cheap. Obviously, mid-20s to early 30s, going through recession, you have to be smart with your finances, especially with savings and finding things that will long last until you can actually afford things later on. So I am the victim of this, unfortunately, because I am a young married woman, and I just bought a house, and then we're going through recession, we gotta be smart. But unfortunately, cheap and used does not equal better compared to new and expensive. We've fallen down this rabbit hole.
Hold on. That's a really good line. Can you describe that?
Highlight.
That was a pretty good clause that you made.
Thank you.
So unpack it for us, because there's a lot packed into that.
Yes. So a lot of the times when you're trying to save money, you're thrifting, so you don't have to be part of the capitalist consuming ideology. You would go to... Okay. I know, sorry. So people will tend to thrift or buy used just to be of that. So a lot of people think that old types of products, because of the new fast fashion or fast assembly situations, they think the old products are better to buy than the newer ones because of that. So a lot of people go buy the 80s, 60s onward because they're better, but they're actually sold, that they're breaking down. You can't even prepare it or repair it properly. So you're basically spending the same amount of money that you would for an old one, but spending the same amount of money for the old one as a new one, thinking that, this one's going to last longer, but actually you're buying this old one for this amount of money, and then it breaks within a couple months, and you have to buy the new one anyway. So that in itself is kind of what a lot of people go through, and that's what the cheap mindset is. And you have to be smart with that. You can save money, say, instead of going to the uppity price stuff for supplies or stationaries, you can go to the dollar store or the Dollar Tree or wherever you're watching this from, or the Dollarama, Great Canadian, whatever.
I want to go to a Dollar Tree.
I want to go. I see that a lot on TikTok. What is this Dollar Tree?
Put a pin in that one.
Yeah, we'll Google.
Carry on.
Anyway, so they would go buy stationaries or cleaning supplies or whatever at the insert cheap spot instead of going to the high off one. But if you're buying, say, lawn equipment and all that, it's probably best to go to an actual hardware store instead. So you're actually buying hard metals or cleaning or better secured ones instead of them popping off like you at the dollar store.
So I guess I'm going to try to articulate what I'm getting from what you're describing.
Yes.
It sounds like when it comes to buying cheap, and as to what you're thinking about, it's a logical fallacy that leads people to assume that something that is cheap is inherently better than something that is new and expensive. So
also,
it's a logical fallacy because just because something costs less doesn't make it the best option for the task that you're trying to fill.
And also, I feel like a lot of people forget the fact that the newer manufactured objects are also following a specific code of health or code of safety.
Yeah,
and all that.
listen.
So a lot of people are buying old equipment that have mercury or lead or harsh metals that are
Lead doesn't degrade that fast.
They don't yet. You're going. So they're buying things.
Asbestos don't catch no fucking fire.
If you're gonna buy some old equipment, you gotta check for asbestos.
Who needs to live past 60?
Yo, that lead tastes mighty fine.
What?
A lot of people buy equipment or stuff like that actually have that harsh metal stuff that obviously stopped working in the 80s because that's when asbestos became being aware.
Again, a lot of people I've talked to that like to do refurbished
nightmare.
cars.
Yeah.
Fuck, that would be insane. So there's two things I wanted to talk about that way.
Yes.
One, they have a bias to saying that car is better than anything that's made today. Maybe in one way. They don't break down as often.
Yes.
That's probably one way. Then there's another one, which is they don't necessarily rust as fast, which is debatable again.
Yeah.
But
just depending.
When we're making decisions in life, it's usually accumulation of
acclamation.
of multiple different things that you have to consider, like safety. There's a camera. Like the way it looks. How does it feel when you drive it? How does the fuel economy? All of these things.
Fuel economy. A lot of people skip over that.
What's the suspension like? Because suspension is really important because if you have shitty suspension, you're going to rattle your fucking engine out of the thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, if we take that idea of considering multiple avenues for quality, and we put that onto an old antique vehicle that people would assume is
better.
Okay, well, maybe it's a little cheaper and I can refurbish it. Well, old cars are better than they are today.
No. You
hit another car that is a T90 tank with no seat belt in it, and it's gonna be fine.
You're gonna be in it.
You are what do we compare that to? You are a water balloon being thrown.
Oh, so
at
true.
A water balloon.
Yeah, your car's gonna be fine. You're in the engine now.
Everything's fine. It's ready for the next person that's gonna get it in an auction after they spray you out of the car.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people think, oh, the engine's hardy and it's big, it's going to be fine. Yeah, right. The engine's going to be fine. But also, I feel like a lot of people skip over the fact that we now actively have car safety testing. Mm-hmm. So the old cars are like, oh, this is great, the engine's really clunky and fantastic, and feel the car, we want the car.
We want the car to be destroyed rather than us die.
And what's that Stephen King, Mercedes? No. Yes, Mercedes. Good movie.
Is it called Mercedes or is it just called Ghost Car?
Christine. Sorry. Christine is
Was it a Mercedes that he's driving?
I think it was.
Is that what you got?
That's where Mercedes? I thought it was. Anyway, good book.
Yeah?
Good movie.
Okay, so we're plugging a Stephen King. You did good. So...
Oh, never. Plymouth. I'm reading language.
Why is this one Kansas? But this one is not Arkansas. America, explain! Explain! What do you mean in Arkansas?
Our first van was a Plymouth, by the way. The van you were talking about earlier today.
Yeah!
That was a Plymouth.
Yeah,
It was a green Plymouth van.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is that one area of fallacy that I have identified is that an old thing is only better in a specific way. Mm-hmm. So then the other fallacy that I've identified when it comes to buying things cheap for their own sake is you have to be in a position where there's fallbacks and systems that you can actually fix the thing you purchase for cheap. So you've seen a lot of YouTubers, you've seen a lot of handy guys doing a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, I would say the majority of the time, they have multiple avenues of success to draw from when they have these projects going on. Their life isn't contingent upon the thing succeeding. AKA, if you buy a car that is a fixer-upper,
I hate that term now.
You either have to be really fucking skilled to get that thing ready to go ASAP, which a lot of people aren't. That's a very specific niche. Or you have to be driving something right now that is serviceable so that you can spend as much time as you need to learn and execute on the task so that you are not in a fucking nightmare of a situation. So, those are two of the fallacies I kind of found with just purchasing things for cheap for its own sake. What?
Next topic.
Pronouncing words versus how they are.
I mean, we just did it with the Plymouth, but it's actually Plymouth.
Yes.
My bad. I'm not a car person. I don't know.
You are a car person.
I'm a truck person. I don't know about the fancy cars. Okay. I literally thought it was a Mercedes up until right there. Yep. So apparently it's a.
I've seen a comedian talk about this kind of thing before too. Like. When she was reading Harry Potter and she was reading what was it? Sirius Black.
Yes, and it was
and she thought it was Cyrus.
So, honestly, it's pretty good.
So
pretty good name.
That really calls into question a lot of things.
Well, it's a linguistic thing too, because a lot of the times when we are teaching like second language or all that, coming from different languages and such, when you're coming from, say, Arabic or Mandarin and all that, you're learning English, there's going to be vastly different areas of where you're coming from because of where your tongue is placed.
Even that, if we stack on top of it the fact that we have lot, fought, caught, rot,
brought,
taught, almost all of those words that I just said are spelled slightly differently.
Lead and lead.
Yeah, same fucking word.
Yeah.
L-E-A-D, L-E-A-D. Mm-hmm. So, I do also know why this happened.
Oh, yeah, because they're, for lead and lead specifically, is because they're from two different ancestors of language.
What?
Yeah. A lot of the English language, because English is actually such a...
Language as fuck?
Yeah. So English is actually such a baby language because it's derived from so many other languages, because like rendezvous, obviously it's French and all those things. So we see a lot of the things that we say in English in different languages like German, French, Dutch, Swedish. Latin is a big one. Greek is a very common one. So it's kind of if you're learning English as a second language, I feel like that's more difficult because it doesn't make sense. English does not make sense.
Well, I can even lend a little more context to that because there's this thing called the Great Vowel Shift.
Oh,
have you ever heard of that? So a little context. There's a period in time in the world. I can't remember what.
Sorry.
I can't remember when it was, but it was right around the time where the written language of English was getting codified, however you want to pronounce it. Another example of.
There you go.
Tomato. When they were writing words down in the way they wanted to spell it, like knight, the soldier, the K-N-I-G-H-T. The Old English
is actually
knicht. That's how they would pronounce it. It was extremely phonetic, which is really the way it should be in a language. It's the way that it is in Japanese. Every symbol in hiragana and katakana are phonetic.
You know the alphabet that we use in, say, French, German, all that. I can't remember what it's called. Arabic letters. That is actually, from martial arts standpoint, reaching back and forth, the Okinawan written language that we read in martial arts is actually the Spanish written linguistically from Arabic, listening to the Okinawan dialect. It's really awful. And cool, a lot of the manuals that I use, and a lot of manuals that most Canadian and
Spanish or Portuguese?
It might be Portuguese actually. I know it's a Latin.
Portuguese are fucking rascals.
Yeah, I know. So it was very much it was either Spanish or Portuguese, and they wrote it out from how they were hearing it phonetically. And so every time we go back, first of all, everything's spelled differently because goes from Okinawan to either Spanish or Portuguese. Sorry about that. Vastly different languages. But they're from the Latin alphabet, their Latin background. And then it's also translated into French and German and then into English, depending on what style you're going from. So, nothing makes sense.
What a romantic marriage
of colonization.
Languages. Do you get the pun? Because Latin's a romantic language. Just in case you didn't get it.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I fall into this a lot though.
Same.
And I wonder how often people to actually pause that thought.
Put a pin in that!
Yeah, put another fucking pin in it.
We lost a pin earlier, and so if you find it from an earlier point, please in the comments timestamp it so we can find it and maybe circle back to it in another video.
We're gonna bring it up again later.
Probably.
But the vowel shift happened because people were pronouncing the words as they were spelled phonetically, and very shortly after it was codified, people started pronouncing words differently, like stopped pronouncing the GH in night, stopped pronouncing the G's in gnarl, 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 or something like that. So it was a culmination of Romantic languages, Frankish, Germanic. I don't know how much Britannic got mixed into that at the time.
Britannic is a whole other thing, and the Celtic languages, they traditionally did not have a written one.
No.
As soon as the British and the Roman, I think it's Roman and then the British.
The British were
translated
way
it.
later.
Yeah, so it's the Romans translated into their own dialect, and then that's why all the, say, Irish or Scots or Gaelic's languages, so Gaelic or Irish Gaelic, Scots Gaelic.
They treat this like a taster to early history of languages. This isn't a verbatim history in how English was codified and pronounced. You should do a little bit more digging, but this is something that we have just at the back of our heads right now.
We don't have PhDs in linguistics, so we don't really know.
I don't have a single PhD.
No, I just hyperfixated a little while ago. So that's why I know it. Let's be honest, we all hyperfixate on one stuff. So
deep dive, and that's why I don't fucking sleep.
We deep dive, no sleep, only study. Anyway, so that's why a lot of when you see the Irish names, it was a big topic. Irish names is because Saoirse. Oh.
Look up
Sinead?
the name. Oh.
Sinead. That makes. Oh, I love it.
Look up the name Saoirse.
Colin?
There's
Colin. No, yeah, the actual Irish way of spelling Colin.
How do you spell Colin?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
There's nobody else in this big room.
You don't see them. I saw it in a video. And there's also column. It's also column.
Column.
Column. It's also spelled.
Got extra letters in there they just don't pronounce anymore.
Well, they probably did pronounce it at some point, but then when it was written out, they kind of started dropping it. And also, the ban of Irish language, but that's also a thing. So, yeah.
Is that called Gaelic?
It's called Gaelic. So we know it as Irish, but it's actually Gaelic, which is like Gaelige, and then there's the Scottish Gaelic, which is Gaelic.
So clearly, codified languages are not inherently always understandable as written.
Yeah.
Which leads us to what we were trying to talk about, and what we're really unpacking here is
pin out.
Saying, I don't think that was the same pin, but saying words in your head in a way, you kind of, you paint it, right? You just say the thing and you're reading through a paragraph or something, you're just constantly saying the thing. And then one day, you try to say the thing in reality.
Say what you mean to say.
And it's apparently not colloquially agreed upon. Like Sean, scene.
Yeah.
So, or what?
I mean, we both have names that are just canonically pronounced. One, my name, I know 5 different women with my name spelled the same way as me, and they all pronounce it differently. And also, the way I pronounce my name is based on the French linguistics. The name of the spelling of my name is pronounced in the French way, but a lot of people read it in the English way. So I pronounce it in the French way, Corinne or Corinne, and people say Corinne, which. Okay, fair enough. I can see where it is in the vowel placement and all that, but that's not at all how I pronounce it.
All strong bitches are named Corinne.
Well, we do, because we also have another Corinne that is Karin. Lovely woman.
She pronounces it like
Karin. So I pronounce it Corinne or Karin based on
Look her up.
She is insane. Phenomenal. Love that we have similar
Root
names.
for this chick.
She's so nice too. Oh my gosh, I love her.
But
anyway,
I love it because I can
also
really.
Cowan.
Yeah, Cowan.
Shout out, yeah.
It's it happens to me all the time, and I think it's one of my few genuine fears. I hate heights.
Yeah.
And I hate running into situations where I've been saying a word either in the context that I thought it was supposed to be or in the pronunciation that I thought it was supposed to be. Like, there's a classic video on the internet. A guy who was talking about packing things up in Tupperware. And he pronounced it like Tupperware. Tupperware. As in to say tub-aware.
Yeah.
And the guy stops him and says, whoa. What did you say?
He's so nice about it.
And no, he's not nice about it.
It's so kind.
He corners the bitch, is what he does. And
so polite.
He's just like,
say the first word.
Say the first word, tub.
First syllable.
Wrong. And then he just fucking pillories the guy for pronouncing it wrong.
Because it's a hard word.
That's one of my nightmares. And if you're one of those people that fuck with people who just pronounce a word off, I hate you a little bit. And I'm going to give you an opportunity for redemption in my mind. When you run into somebody who pronounces something either wrong or differently, say, hey, what was that word again? And then you talk about it. You say, hey, I've never heard it pronounced like that before. Here's how I pronounce it. You have a fucking conversation with this person rather than making them into an enemy.
I think I work a lot with second language, English as a second language, or with
which
a lot
would
of
happen all the time.
Because,
you don't look at an immigrant and say, fuck you for not pronouncing this word perfectly the first try.
We know it's that demographic who does.
People shouldn't.
People shouldn't.
Just like people shouldn't drink and drive, but guess what?
Unfortunate.
They fucking do.
Yeah. But anyway.
Carrying on. You had a thought.
Oh yeah, because you don't go up to someone who is learning English for the first time and say, hey, fuck you, don't learn this language, you don't know how to pronounce it that way. You teach them, you learn it. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of languages are dying because they're gatekeeping the way you pronounce it to the finest inkling of how it's pronounced.
And the people that are gatekeeping the language don't know how to fucking read anyway.
Yeah, so there's a lot of I love looking at the dying language list just to see if there's any way that we can integrate it into modern way, because we have medias now, we have social media, and we have just general outlets of maybe we should learn this. People learn Klingon for
That's cool.
People learn Klingon, people learn Elvish, and like they learned also their language from World of Warcraft with the Orc language.
Orcish?
Orcish, maybe? I don't know what's I don't know what's the
I'm not is it 40k or is it something different?
I think
Warhammer 40k is different than
it's different. No, World of Warcraft and then Warhammer different.
Did you say Warcraft or Warhammer?
Warhammer.
Okay, we're both talking about Warhammer.
World of Warcraft.
I know, we never brought that up.
I did. Just then, gaslight.
Sorry. Not intentional.
Oh, World of Warcraft with the orcs, and there's a bad movie.
I like that movie.
It was a good movie, but it's so bad.
I like that movie.
It was great. It was great. It was horrible.
Cool.
The plotline fantastic, based on the game terrible.
They
got separated.
The CGI in that movie.
So good. Also, like
in Warcraft,
the songs, the soundtrack was bomb.
They poured so much money into that movie.
The CGI was so good.
So ridiculously good.
I still think about the orc baby.
That was fucking
so
great.
Good.
Yeah, we compare that to the Twilight baby.
Oh. Listen, if you comment down below, we're dabbling with doing a commentary / movie review. If you want to do that, comment below. That's fantastic.
Fuck you. I don't care what you think. I'm going to do a commentary on a video.
I'm going to do it. Anyway.
Watch it.
Anyway. So, I find
Tell me what to do.
If we do that to actual human dying languages, that would be fantastic, because we have a maritime language that is unfortunately slowly dying. It's called Akkadian. It's a cousin to Cajun down in the south, and unfortunately because it's not a specific language.
Just say Shiak.
Shiak is, unfortunately, so Akkadian is the actual dialect of the Akkadian people that lived here and unfortunately got shipped out. They are now
way back when in the 1700s.
And then they are also the cousins of Cajuns, because Akkadians went down south and became Cajuns, and they mixed with the central areas and also the African people and all that. Long story, Google it. I'm not a historian.
Really cool stuff.
I know the Akkadian history. The Cajun history, I'm a bit mixed up on. Anyway, so the Akkadian language is unfortunately dying in the Maritimes because...
Cajuns are Louisiana, I think.
Cajuns are Louisiana. Yes, they're New Orleans area on that peninsula there. Anyway,
somewhere in there.
Anyway, so that's also a dying language. And then he brought up Shiak, which is a West New Brunswick dialect of English and Akkadian French mixed in. So they mingle the English language with the Akkadian dialect, and then it's kind of mixy. And a lot of people actually speak a lot of people speak Shiak that are born and raised Akkadian, but unfortunately are integrated into the English world, and then it's kind of Shiak is a growing language where Akkadian is a dying language. And unfortunately no one is going out of their way to actually properly teach Akkadian language, and it's a very much a closed...
Not nobody, few.
A few people. So actually, unfortunately, Akkadian is under the closed practice language, because there's so little people going out and then teaching other people as a second language. So we're learning more about the Quebecois and the Quebec way of speaking, which is also a very cool language history. So we learn that, and then European French.
Born in battle is what it is.
Very cool. The Quebecois is a fantastic history on all of them.
Born in battle and independence.
Yes, very, very exciting history. So we have that, which is still being taught in Quebec and to the Quebecois generation, but the Akkadian language is also dying. So it's very much I'm very pro-French, as you can say. I can't speak it, unfortunately, because I had a mixed learning.
Well, I'm going to say something that's going to annoy you, because I've been guilty of lightheartedly teasing Shiak people. I
speak Shiak just because I can't form full French sentences. I speak Shiak.
Can you give me an example?
No.
Okay. So, the reason that I tend to tease very lightheartedly people who use the language of Shiak is because when it's used, it can sound like somebody who knows a little bit of English and a little bit of French, and they're smashing it together because they forget some adjectives and verbs from either language.
Yeah.
So, a really cool anecdote that I could use is during my university physics lab.
Oh, I know about this one,
and
yeah.
I am not the best at fucking anything. And again, my ignorance laid bare during this goddamn lab.
That's a good story.
And I had this lovely partner.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him so fondly. He's such a strong and pretty boy. He helped me a lot. And I did something, it was my task, and he was handling something else. I think it was to do with oscillation with an oscilloscope, where we were measuring amplitudes and wavelengths and stuff. And I fucked something up. And he comes over and he checks my work. And this dude looks at me and says, "Go and Keska, fuck!" I'm like, "Do you not have the word for fuck in your language?" He's like, "Fix that!" And I'm like, "Okay. But I want to..." He's like, "Fucking fix it!" I'm like, "Okay." But really though, because he just... When he would get excited, especially angry, he would turn on the shit. Yeah. And just pieces of English and pieces of French would be mixed all into it.
Oh yeah, famously would say, "Ouvrez le livre to page, blah blah blah," and then it's like, which one are we doing?
So,
tout le monde, ouvrez le livre. Page 69. Like, okay, well, why? Why can't we just say? It's horrible.
For sure. And to be fair, even in French, there are things that sound like... I almost sneezed. That was weird. It came out of nowhere. I'm alright.
Good. Oh my god.
I'm okay.
Wow.
And so even in French, there are words that sound like English. Like there's a no is no.
No.
What is time? Ton? Ton?
Nom.
Nom, which is name.
Nom.
So there's a lot of words in French.
Numero.
Number.
Yep.
Which all really sound similar to English anyway. So the argument that I have used in jest is a flawed, joking argument. But I do still tend to say, "Come on, big language, would you?"
So at the end of this, we are very pro the French language, so I do better. Government, please put that, fix the language studies portion. Yeah. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline for this country to begin with, but I think that should be a part of the list.
It's very, because I want both regional indigenous languages and the proper French of New Brunswick put into, because let's be honest, I don't care about European French all that much. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to go to Europe
Is that called Parisian?
Well, when I was in school, we learned Parisian, Swiss, Acadian, and Quebecois French. Yeah, surprisingly.
What school did you go to?
We went to the same school. I took tabs on which languages we learned, which variations of French we learned.
Well,
also, I do not care about European French all that much. It's a beautiful language. Love the history of that as well. But I'm not going to use that on a daily basis. You know what I use daily? Acadian and Quebecois. That's what I use. I need more studies on that.
How isolationist of you.
Well, reason.
I made you squirm. So, we've covered everything in detail with some comic relief. So, you got anything to toss in there?
Like, subscribe, share. Follow my Instagram.
Like, subscribe,
and share. Follow our Instagram. Chat, hang out.
Yes.
Yes.
And with that, who are you?
I'm Corinne.
I'm Colin.
And we're in Blood Banter.
Go the fuck to sleep!
Bye-bye.